like the best video ever.
This is crazy.
We got 25 minutes. We gotta go. Hey, welcome from sunny Arizona.
Sunny Arizona, poolside. We're super excited to be coming you live here. This is just a reminder that you all need to go on a vacation. Take care of yourselves. You can't serve others from an empty cup. So you want to make sure that you're serving from the overflow.
She is starting heavy, folks.
We are actually modeling that for you. We're out here. We're here to get our cups filled.
Amen.
For a leadership seminar. But we thought we would, we thought we couldn't stop. We got to we've been doing this. We're committed. We want to bring the juice to you guys, and we got it today.
That's actually a talking point in itself, which we could get into another time, because she's right. We definitely considered it would be easier to have not done this. It'd be easier to be in this water right now and not sitting here doing this. But this is in itself something that we did commit to. And so we want to continue and play it forward. And so let's dive into it, the pool version of what it means to get into today's questions.
My bad. Drum roll. Today's question is the simplicity of your business escaping you? Ooh. Great question. So we got 25 minutes on the clock.
Let's throw that up there. Let's throw that up.
25 minutes. There we go. Okay.
Good. And Janelle, why don't you take the lead?
So I would say yes, and yes. I think I know me personally, I overcomplicate things all the time. Like, oh, maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done that. When it really is just doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? We're going to have people who say yes. We're going to have people who say no, but it's just a matter of doing it over and over and over again. McDonald's didn't say, the sauce must be bad because, 20 people just said no to our hamburgers. They just kept making the sauce the same way. They figured eventually, right? Like, somebody's going to say yes.
I love that. And were you finished?
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I love where you actually took that to begin with. Specific to our business, it definitely is. And I know what we get from a lot of our trainings is you just need to show the deal. When your business, Winston, my business has been stagnant. I'm not seeing the increase I want. I'm not seeing the duplication that I want. And one of the biggest things I know that we learn is to go show 6 new people. Go enroll 6 new people. And whatever that number is for your company, I'm sure that in itself is the answer. But I love this question because I think of it in terms of when you think of network marketing, it really is just something that people do instinctually now. And then we get into this business, and I agree with Janelle, we overcomplicate it. All of a sudden, when was the last time I invited you to a movie or something and it got weird or awkward on the phone? Like if you were like, oh, I don't want to go see the new Black Widow movie, which you're crazy if you don't want to go see the new Black Widow movie, right? Would you get funny about that or not respond to me? Or there's something to be said about when we step into this arena and on the other side now there's an intention behind you inviting. And I think we should definitely get into in our last one. Well, I'm thinking about our last interview. And shout out to the brunch pitch for anybody. If you haven't seen last week's episode, you got to go check out Tajmir. We actually had an opportunity to go to that event in Harlem, and it was amazing. We can't wait to join them November 6th. But one of the things I took away from that conversation was when we started talking about this idea of asking people for money. And you go to an event like the brunch pitch and you realize that as business owners, you aren't asking for sales. You aren't asking somebody to buy your product, buy your service, or support your idea in a way. And I think the simplicity of our business is the same except that ask is what needs to come up at the end, right? So I show you the, I wish we could show that for the bloopers. This show. Oh, you missed it.
We had some entertainment.
I know. I think it's so simple because at the end of it, because our business requires or it matters that you make the decision to come to the movie with me or not, I have an emotional response to that. Whereas if there was no financial incentive, if I asked you to go do something with me that you said no to do, I don't know how much I would trip, you know what I mean? Or trip over that.
Yeah, it's, I was like, why do we complicate it, right? Like, that's what I was listening to. And I was like, it's so funny. Why do we do that? When something happens, right? There's like this flip that happens when people now need to, when there's an intention behind it, right? When it's like, oh, I just want you to go to the movies. I think this would be good for you. Whatever, right? Like you're like, I don't care if I make, like somebody else is making money, right? Like everybody understands that like the movie theater or the producers or the actors, whatever, they're gonna make money by you going to see it. Like no one's ignorant of that. But then when it's like, well, no, come to the movies with me, because if you come to the movies with me, then like I get like 10%, 15%, 20% of whatever it costs you to go to the movies. Then all of a sudden it's like, I don't know if I can ask my friends to go to the movies because, now I'm making money off of my friend. And like, then it's all weird. And like, why? Like, I'm not sure. I have an answer to that question, which is like, why do we overcomplicate things? Certainly, if you're listening to this right now and you think you have an idea, we'd love to hear from you and discuss ideas that way. But maybe it's just human nature to think like, ooh, I don't know.
We've been taught. That, and man, you get Janelle be dropping some gems. I wish you guys would just, because there's something to be said about the fact that we would tell ourselves that it's our nature, but our nature is to help each other. Our nature is to serve, but we don't understand that I think in general sense, sales as a whole, to me, it seems like you're taking something from someone. Right. But no one, intellectually, I think you understand that doesn't make sense. If I'm selling you medicine, I need to produce the medicine. The medicine has to be made, so there's costs. I have to pay the people. Like, I think you can make. Let me go back. Let's do the McDonald's reference. Somebody made the burger. That person deserves to be compensated. I don't get, and to Janelle's point, if I now become a part of that chain of the burger getting to you, and I'm rewarded for being a part of that I don't jump at a chance like that. I think about this is like a famous story. You probably hear this over years on all we talk about this show, Janelle's salmon story. If you've ever wanted to see a person more enthusiastic about a piece of fish, you got to let Janelle tell you the salmon story. But the reason why I love it is it was almost it was so funny because people at the end, after Janelle told this, I am included in this, decided to get the salmon as a part of this meal. And what we all kind of started to reflect on at the end of that was the fact that because we're in this business, we're conscious of something that Janelle would have probably already did, or would have, we use the term naturally did, but no, she would have, because it's a part of how we are, she would have talked to us about the salmon if there was no financial incentive. But the minute, I think if I found out she made money because I bought the salmon, something in me now is anger. I don't know what the emotion is, but just feels like I got sold. And you always hear this, people want to buy, they just don't want to get sold. There we go. And something else I could have had.
Trick me
into taking this meal because got money. Exactly.
And I wonder also if that's cultural. Is that a mindset of the poor and the middle class versus the wealthy?
Absolutely.
I don't think the wealthy think about it.
Don't think about it at all.
They're like,
they don't think about it at all.
Yes, you deserve to be paid. I want to make sure that you're like, I actually think that what you're saying, you know what? You're going to make money off of this fish, but this fish is obviously amazing. You're really passionate about it. You should get money from the fish. I think the wealthy, that's how they think. It's really weird. It's this poor middle class like mentality.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, no, you're trying to dupe me, or like try and trick me. You're trying to trick me into buying this. That way you get money and I give you, like, I'm giving you something that I shouldn't have given you.
Well, it's almost like as if to me, it'd almost be like you think there's something righteous in you giving away something for free, whereas to your point as well, the wealthy would look at it and say, no, there's an opportunity that someone's going to benefit from here. Why aren't I? And one of the things we've learned, again, from I think our training in network marketing, is this idea that the wealthy, and Robert Kiyosaki talks about this so much, there's this idea that the wealthy are villains. That if you have money, money is inherently evil, when that's not true.
Right.
You know what I mean? There is a spirit around money, which we could talk about in another talk or whatever. But there's this idea that if I wanted to go help, let's use the situation in Haiti right now. I saw somebody sent me a picture this morning of a gentleman that went around in Haiti. It's a young rapper, I'm assuming. I don't know him. I can't remember his name, but he gave out envelopes filled with money to people who are in Haiti right now. And the first thing I thought was, I would love to do that. my bank accounts say otherwise. My bank account says, no, you can only help yourself. You can only help your immediate family. We aren't doing great as it is. Whereas this guy is living in an abundance. In my mind, I love Janelle's picture of you got to fill up first so that you can give out. And that's what I think many people are, because we have such a scarcity mindset. We can't even see that. That would be a way. The company we're a part of, one of our founders' vision is to have a company of people where you can go around. I remember he said this, and I love this. It was like, you can walk around our event and give 10 people $1,000.
Yeah.
Randomly walk up to 10 people and give them $1,000, and not blink an eye, because it was like whatever. $10,000 is like nothing to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you're living. $10,000 is like nothing.
And he wants to create a community of people where not only is that our heart and what we do, but also we can.
Absolutely.
Create people who have the ability to do that and not want to. So I want to check out this comment that Brittany said. So she says that your emotions are tied to this. You internally have a goal and desire, and that sits with you. Once there is rejection, it automatically is revived by you, and is the goal and the intent. Wait, hold on, let's keep reading. There is skin in the game in network marketing, even though we already know the rejection will be there. If a friend says, "Oh, I don't want to go to the movie," it's no skin off your back, because right, you didn't gain anything. Oop, you didn't gain anything.
Oh, I think earlier she was saying it's automatically received by you. So that rejection is internalized by you as something about you and not the movie. Again, if I said, right, Janelle, do you want to go see Black Widow or go see Black Panther again? And she says, no, I don't take that personally, because that movie has nothing to do with me. Whereas with this, my product, my service, it is mine. Right. And therefore,
it's a little bit more like your baby.
Whereas now, if you had a business or corporate mindset, or more business savvy mindset, to Janelle's earlier point about the McDonald's, you're not tripping over who doesn't like the sauce.
Right.
You're happy that, I mean, maybe you're not happy that they went to Burger King and they went to go get it their way, but at least you know that they're still in your wheelhouse.
Right.
You know what I mean? At least you know that they're still consumers. And I love it. It's like when we talk about the whole bread aisle thing, like how many different versions of bread there are.
Yeah.
You just want enough. I mean, guys, how many of us, like, if you just got to a certain rank in your company, you don't even maybe have the goal to hit the top rank. Let's be real. Like, we know that the statistics shows very few that who are going to do it. Mm-hmm. But wouldn't you want to get close to it?
Right.
Wouldn't that extra money, or if that became your main source of income, be a huge difference? Can you imagine if you earned $100,000 passive residually, or mm-hmm. you earned it actively, meaning you had to go out and every year you had to re-earn, or redo the work to get the 100,000, or you created enough value in people's life, leverage, where $100,000 came in. Trust me, it's a different type of $100,000.
Yeah.
And I know it's actually one of the topics, but we used to talk about that a lot more.
Yeah.
The difference between a passive dollar and I don't know if the term is active dollar. What was the other one?
I don't know if
it's passive. Let's call it active. We just came up with that.
Yeah.
If it's already coined, then that's my bad. But I think about a dollar that I'm making where I'm not lifting a head up, foot out the door, and a dollar that I have to go out that door to make it. There's no way that you wouldn't value the passive more.
Right.
Right.
100%.
Than if you were to do the other one. So the idea of you just need to share an idea, do it from a place of enthusiasm, do it from a place of integrity. And we absolutely overcomplicate it, because when we don't get the result we want, and maybe because it doesn't seem as straightforward to us. I know one of my biggest challenges was it always seemed so clear to me. Our business works like this. I enroll 2 people. They spend a certain amount of money on our product service, and if they go and get 2 more, within a matter of 8 months, I should be at a passive income, for sure. Right. If we just did that.
Right.
If I did no more than that, the right. numbers in almost every comp plan I've seen, if we just did that, I would hit a passive income.
Right.
And people get in, they don't do that, and it doesn't make sense to me that that's all we would need to do.
Well, it's because you just need to show that many more people to get the 2.
Yeah.
So people think that, oh, it's going to be the first 2 people that I see.
Oh, that's good.
Or the first 2 people that I show are going to be the first 2 people that jump in, and then, and repetitive, right? Like,
yeah.
But that's not always the case with many people. Even some of the most successful people I know had ton of no's.
Yeah.
Like over 100 no's.
What's a Harry Potter woman?
Yeah, J.K. Rowling.
Yeah. What was hers? 13? No, that sounds like too low.
She was
a
told
lot
a
of
lot
rejection.
of times.
A lot of
She was told
rejection.
no
I
a
remember
lot
that
of
was
times.
something I think about it because of you, how much you
Yeah.
love it. But I remember
She
listening
was.
to her story and thinking,
Shout out J.K. Rowling if you're ever watching this.
oh yeah, let's put that out in the universe for real. Somebody tag J.K. Rowling in this, so she can send this to her so that we get this. But I remember listening to her story and think about it. Think about how many people that you probably listen to, follow, you are encouraged by. What you're usually, or what I find I'm usually motivated by, is this idea of they went through some struggle. They didn't allow the struggle to deter them. They just kept they just kept pushing however it looked, and eventually they got to the other side. And we're so enamored by those stories, and yet we don't want to create that for ourselves, I think. Right?
Oh, I love that, Brittany. She also didn't start until she was in her 30s. That is correct.
That's a big deal.
She wasn't young, right? She wasn't and she certainly didn't get published until she was in her 30s, and she's been writing these like in her 20s. So she was writing in her 20s, got rejected for years, then finally got published in her 30s, but it didn't take off. Harry Potter didn't really take off until she was like in her 40s. So even though she was published, it didn't become the phenomenon that it was until much later. So these things take time. I think that's something else that we've been learning, right?
Yeah,
like,
I think we're starting to come into that reality.
Just a reminder that like nothing is overnight. Again, you think it's going to be the first 2 people that you show, boom, they're going to get started, but it's not.
Or your first company.
Yeah. Shout out to Rita.
Oh yeah.
Rita Rodriguez, who was just walking by. She's out here with us too. She was one of our first guests.
Bench. Yeah,
she actually
literally was our first
bench talk. What happens when your company
shuts down and you got to start over? And this idea that you saw it a certain way, you saw that first whatever being the thing that was going to get you where you needed to go, and it just doesn't turn out that way. And you have to have an optimistic view. I think it is about obviously your mindset towards this new venture that's going to make the biggest impact. But I love that, especially since we got on this subject of age. If you ever look at the story for the guy who started KFC, was it Popeyes? Is it Popeyes?
I don't know.
He was in his 60s or 70s. Some really old.
Colonel.
There we go. It is
the Colonel.
His 60s or 70s, and I guarantee you, his family right now doesn't care that he started so late.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure that the legacy that he's been able to leave behind and will continue to, obviously I still see people packing into the chicken joints. I'm pretty confident that they don't care. And so how much will your family generationally look back to you as the people who knocked over that first domino? 50, 60, 70, 80. We see people in our company in their 60s and 70s getting on stage saying they've been at this for how many years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My mom has been doing network marketing almost all my life, as far as I know, and hasn't made it to the place I know that she wants to go. But I know that the journey in itself, as frustrating as it is a blessing,
right?
And maybe just something you have to look back on. So I know we moved a little bit, touched on a couple different things, but we definitely thank you guys for the comments that are in there. And if there's other things that you've noticed about certain simplicities in areas of your life that you think we overcomplicate, definitely throw that in the comments and chat below. That way we could
a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
A ton of stuff we overcomplicate.
If we get into relationships in itself, we can.
I know. I was like, that's like a whole thing.
We're reading a book right now about this.
Yes, it's a whole thing of how we overcomplicate things. And maybe that's a part of human nature too. Like just wanting it's like it can't be that simple, right? I think a lot of times we think that like it can't be that simple. Or even this idea of things like being too good to be true. Why? Like sometimes the alternative is like much worse. Like why must the horrible thing must be the true thing? Like why can't it just be the good thing that's true? I don't know.
Learn behavior. I don't know if you ever sat down, and this is hard because I love movies, but you watch movies and you realize that it does leave you thinking a certain way. Who's the guy you were talking about that says that he's never traveled? You're in an Uber. Was it an Uber driver?
It was an Uber driver.
Yeah. And what is it that he only sees about traveling? So this guy's never been around the world.
This guy's never been on an airport. He's been out of New York.
Yeah.
He went to Florida. But the only way he got to Florida was by driving. He didn't get on a plane. This man has only been to Florida and New York, like the 5 boroughs, and Florida. That's it. And let me tell you which part of Florida. Orlando, Florida. Not even like South Florida. So he's never even seen the beach in South Florida. Like this is how like
wow.
like, it's so funny. You know, by the end of that conversation, sorry, you guys don't know about this conversation. Let me just finish this. So he's never been to any of these places. And he's like, we're talking about like, where would he like to go? And he's like, well, let me tell you the places I won't go. I won't go to Australia. I won't go to Brazil. I won't go to Mexico.
That's the part.
And I'm like, wait, what? And he's like, I'm not going to go to Australia because of all like the critters. So if anybody knows, yes, Australia does have the most amount of dangerous
I didn't even know
animals and critters on like anywhere in the world.
Still gonna go.
Still gonna go.
I'm
yes.
still gonna go. I didn't even know that.
But it does.
Yeah.
Then Brazil, he was like, oh, well, you know about the favelas, right? And I was like, yes, I do know about the favelas. And he's like, well, yeah, those people, they're gonna be like, I saw videos, they like empty clips into people, like they're like ruthless. And I was like, why would you do that? Like, why would you go to? I was like, that's like someone coming to New York saying, I'm visiting New York, I'm gonna go into a project. Like
old Bed-Stuy, Old Bed-Stuy.
Oh yeah, like why would you do that? Like, you're not going to like visit the project building, like. Like why? Like, just don't do that. Like, it was just bizarre for me. And then the same thing about Mexico. Oh, they empty clips in there. They're ruthless. I'm like, why are you watching these types of YouTube videos? And he's like, oh, my friends send them to me. I'm like, who are your friends? Like, what is this? Like,
and you got to go check out who are your friends, because that is a big deal. What I loved about Janelle's story with that is I've been to Brazil 4 times and I absolutely love it there. I've been to the favelas. What he's describing isn't inaccurate. It is the reality that does happen. But it's also the same about New York. How many people go to New York? And if you're looking at the Empire State Building and all these different things, the Statue of Liberty, you'll never go to Marcy. It wouldn't even be a place to go.
You're not going to Marcy.
You're not going to projects.
Roaches.
Yeah, none of those things are
elevators.
So why would you? But I think what this story, when Janelle said it, it made me think is, wow, look at a guy who's never really going to experience this world. If he, thankfully the conversation with Janelle, I think, opened him up to this.
I agree.
But simply because she was passionate about what she is, which is travel, and shared her passion. I mean, it speaks to even what we do. It could be the thing that literally opens this guy up to now go see the world.
Yeah.
I think our business and industry is so true to that. Because people they have been seeing negative imagery. They have been seeing your business is going to fail. Most businesses do fail within their first 3 years. Mm-hmm. More than 50%. Like, because you're seeing those statistics, because you're focusing on that aspect of it, you are going to see it as, well, my business won't be successful. But where are you buying the stuff you're buying from now? Somebody is selling it to you.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where, back to the mindset of a wealthy person. The wealthy person goes, why can't I be that person?
Right.
Why can't
Somebody's
if you're gonna go to Brazil anyway, if you're gonna go to DR, why can't I have my hand in there somewhere? And the more hands I can get into different little pots, I can have enough for myself and provide to that point about going around giving $1,000 out to people who are in need.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy, he's doing a good thing. I'm sure he works hard. I'm sure he's a hard worker. There's so many people who are hard workers, but the thing you're working hard at isn't going to get you what you want.
You really want, yeah.
It's just not, like, and that's the part. Like, Jim Rohn says it. You signed up for the wrong class.
Yeah.
You signed up for the wrong class. What they're teaching you in the class you're taking now is how to be an employee. And shout out to all the employees, because we're at a resort where there's people who are working. They're giving us drinks. They just got waters. They're cleaning the room. Exactly. So we're not saying that people who work at jobs aren't, but we're talking to a specific group of people. If you're on here, we believe that you are somebody who's interested in network marketing or a business owner in itself, and you realize that you don't have to be the majority, because the majority are going to work for the minorities. And the minorities, and that's so powerful. Let's take that back. Let's take back the word minority.
Yeah, let's take that back. I love this.
Let's be the minority that go out, and we can make a big impact in the world because we're doing enough and impacting enough lives. Jim Rohn also said about, if you want to find ways to increase the amount of money you make, you got to increase your value. And the sad truth is, I remember he said this: if there's somebody working at a job and they pay other people there more than you, that only tells you that you don't offer as much value as that person. And if you can go out and create more value, and the sad truth is, many people's jobs aren't designed in a role that you've been given for you to go and create more value. It's still limiting. Even if you are the badass at administration, you are I don't want to put any position down, but whatever, you're a badass at whatever you do. They've probably also told you how much you can make there.
Yep.
They've probably already created a structure around how you get raises.
Yep.
So they didn't cheat you out of anything, but you signed up for something that ultimately is not going to give you what you want. And that's what we're really here to do. We're here to. Oh no!
Oh, come on!
Don't let them look like we're weirdos now. Just keep flipping the camera around. Right?
More dancing.
I know. They've probably already created a structure there that's gonna dictate how you get raises. I'm sure, Janelle, you have performance reviews, and that dictates when you get to ask for your next raise. And so, but in our business, there isn't any of that really. You have the opportunity in any month, any day to go out. We can pick up right now, and if we went in and put in the work, we know that we could get to our next rank, and we don't have to wait for somebody to tell us it's okay.
Right.
To do that. So don't you want that level of freedom? Like, aren't you guys looking to have that type of control in your life, especially over your finances? Where, so many people, drop it in the chat if you know somebody who's gotten let go, that they weren't wrong. They were wrongfully or necessarily terminated, but they got let go from a job that they probably were doing well, but the company just couldn't sustain them anymore. Right. So it's not like, again, companies or jobs are bad. There's some businesses where they just don't have it within their budget to even pay you the way. We actually listened to a young lady that said her reason for starting her business. Was she the one that did the cupcakes?
Yeah.
For her starting her business, because she worked as a cook and realized that she was being underpaid. That She even got let go from or left the place because they told her, we cannot afford you.
Yep.
We cannot afford you.
Yep.
And so I think it's you could have two mindsets to that. She could have heard that, gotten upset, started going around complaining to her friends about, they don't, but she didn't. She sat down and said, you know what? They're right. You can afford me. Let me go out and go create my own value for myself in the marketplace. And she was one of the better ones that we saw this weekend. Again, shout out to the brunch pitch, because that was an amazing event.
Brunch pitch.
Oh, right on time.
That's the time.
Nice.
So hopefully you guys got some value from that. Please like, share, subscribe, right down there. Just do that.
Somewhere.
Yes. If you really get value from any of our videos, even post it on your Facebook or any of your social media, Reddit, anything like that. Spread the love, share the love. We love for other people to get the value that we're given, right?
Yeah. And for anyone that does that, would be actually something really cool. We're going to think of something, because that's something Janelle just said. We'll think of something to send you guys. We don't have swag bags or gear like that yet, but that is something that is coming in the near future. So you might be the first one to get a Say That t-shirt, a Say That swag bag, or actually maybe one of the products from our company that we could send you, because it's just what we do.
It's what we do. I love that. Actually, I love that idea. All right, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you again, all of you, for taking the time to see us today. And as always, remember you deserve the good life. Say that.
I'm going to jump in the pool.